Hi everybody and welcome to Body Confidence. My name is ALICIA PLOSZ and I am MRS.CURVE. I am the reigning international curve queen. And happy Wednesday! I love Wednesdays. So yes, welcome to Body Confidence. So body confidence is a wide spectrum. It doesn't mean that you're going to wake up and be confident every single day. What that means is we are going to try together as a community to put tools in our toolbox that every single day we can wake up and say, you know what, today I am enough. Today I am going to practice and put into progress being the most emotionally and mentally stable person I can be and loving myself a little bit more today. So I feel that you can't be 100% confident all the time. So how can we help each other to be more confident is by affirming daily that we are enough and loving ourselves a little bit more, a little bit every day. So by having a show like this where we talk about body confidence and being more aware that everybody has insecurities and everybody needs a little bit more love and attention, it just makes it a stronger platform where we can share. So if you or somebody you know has a story to share or some tips and tricks that you think we would benefit from, please let me know so we can have them on the show where they can help put tools in our toolbox to make us all a little bit more successful in being more confident and loving ourselves. That being said, today our guest is Jamie Garrett, Mrs. US of A 2019, US of A Globe, and we're going to see what tools she has to help us put in our toolbox to share and hear more about her. You may have met her if you are a Globette, as I am. You may have met her before. We're going to see when she comes on what she has to share. And then also, today and every day, you are enough, and we just need to be more aware. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me good? You good? Okay, I'm just going to... I kind of had my head there. Apparently, I'm taller than I thought I was. Just slide back a bit.
Hey, Tasha. How are you?
Oh, from Seattle. Perfect. I love it when people tell me where they're from because I am from Canada. I'm from the west side of Canada. I'm from Alberta. And it's so cool. For me, it's 10 a.m. in the morning here. And some people, when they come on, it's like it's their middle of their night or their nighttime. And it's so, I love how the internet just connects us all and brings us all together. Like, so where are you from, Jamie?
I'm from Florida, from Orlando, Florida.
So what time is it there for you?
So it's 12.
Perfect. So noon.
Yeah.
So right in the middle of your day. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Like we're all able to connect to exactly where we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Is it nice there? What's the weather like for you right now?
Yeah, it is. No rain or anything, just sunshine. What about for you?
Yeah, it's nice. It's like fall weather here. It's a little cool. So like leather jacket, little turtleneck. Fall weather. Fall fashion is my favorite fashion. So this is where I'm like rocking all my favorite stuff right now.
Yeah.
So 9 a.m. for Tasha. Okay, I love that.
Oh yeah.
That's what I love. I love that we all get to gather here on Wednesdays, and doesn't matter what time of day, we're all here and we get to learn tips and tricks on how to be a little bit more loving and kind to ourselves. That's great. So Jamie, thank you very much for being here and spending a little bit of your day with us. I met you originally last year in Palm Springs when you won the Miss US of A title, and that was exciting. So a lot of people don't know that you, by trade, are a lawyer. So not just beautiful, very smart and intelligent as well, which is pretty cool. So I have some couple questions for you. So while you were practicing law, did you find it difficult to feel confident, especially like body image wise, to stand up and like execute a position in front of people?
I did at times, especially I don't feel like weight mattered or shape or anything like that, but I think more as like being a woman or gender, and I think being a blonde, just the stereotype of being a dumb blonde. But I don't think that I was the only, just as a blonde, only blondes. I think women in general are still have a lot more to prove and in court and things. As far as my experience, I mean, I was, treated with respect. It wasn't disrespect, but by other attorneys and the judges. But like clients, I had like one example was like a client that I was appointed to represent the client, and it happened right there in court. So we're standing up at the podium, and the client looks me up and down and says, "Oh, great." So that was like in front of everyone in the courtroom, including the judge. But I just kind of laughed it off, like, you know, it's okay. I can prove her wrong. So
Right.
that's basically like the mindset I had.
That's amazing. Like that's you have to be a little bit emotionally strong to be able to handle that. So good for you. That's amazing. Do you feel that that confidence that you had from the courtroom that you took from that helped you to be in being judged in a pageant situation as well?
I do, because I felt like I was judged a lot by, you know, when you're around male attorneys, and even clients, they think that you're a woman, so you're less capable. I did get that from them at times. So I do think just experiencing that a lot, that then it was kind of like when I was on stage, well, there's going to be some that think that I'm not good enough, but there'll be some that do. I hope.
Right.
I just kind of thought, just do your best anyway, and just enjoy it anyway. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
She's an aspiring criminal defense attorney.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that we get to hear. I like when people comment, because it makes us get to see a little bit more into what everyone else is doing, not just because, especially when they're contestants, because lots of times we don't know everyone's backstory, and that's like for you, that's why I thought it was so interesting. Is like when I met you, we were competing. We weren't in the same lane competing, but we were competing at the same pageant. And I did not know until you spoke that you were a lawyer. Like, it's so interesting how multifaceted everyone is, and everyone has these amazing qualities and things that we can glean things from, and as tools we can put in our toolboxes.
Right.
And I find that as a community as a whole, we can empower each other and raise each other up a little bit better, right?
Right. That you don't realize you've picked up these skills without realizing specifically what they were, but you use them to help you accomplish other things. I did have a scenario. I just actually, you reminded me of when I was pregnant, though, as an attorney.
Okay.
And it was an emotional time, and I remember something occurring. I can't remember exactly, but it was emotional for me, and I was very much pregnant, and a male attorney said to me, and he was actually the manager at the time, he said something like, women, you shouldn't be in here anyway.
Oh, you froze. Can you repeat that? So he said you shouldn't be here again. Sorry, you froze.
You should be at home anyway to raise your child. This was my second pregnancy. And so, and he made a statement like that. And I just remember being so like emotionally upset about that. Just like, wow, man, but there's still always going to be people who believe the things they used to believe back in the day. That don't understand that that's not the truth, you know, and many of us have developed and realized that women are capable, and I don't need to be home just because.
Right. You don't have anything to prove to anybody.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. So there was that one scenario, but moving on into.
No, and exactly. But you know what? Sometimes things like that too, they make you more aware. Like, you know what? I'm amazing, and I can do both things.
Right.
You can. You couldn't do this. I'm growing a human being right now, and I'm here working. What are you doing?
Yes. And actually, I went back after I had the second baby, and I stayed for, it was about 2 years after that I stayed. So, and then I chose to leave to be home with my son. It was a personal choice. It wasn't anybody else, you know, pushing me out or making me feel I wasn't good enough. I chose to leave for my son. So, yeah. No,
and that's your choice. And that's amazing that you do have the choice, and it is your choice to make, not somebody else's choice. And I love that. I love that. So what made you choose to compete in the Miss Globe pageant? What was something that made you want to do something different? Because being in the courtroom isn't the same as being in a pageant.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So originally I competed in a different pageant, but I was really happy when I found Mrs. Globe. because of what she stands for and her nonprofit and her Dr. Tracy herself. I fell in love with that part. But I think originally getting into pageants was definitely, I created a nonprofit for special needs. So I found out quickly that, you know, you can highlight that, you can speak about it, spread the word about nonprofits, and that pageants are about that. And I had no idea. I just thought they walked the runway. And then when I found that out, I thought, wow, that's awesome and exciting and in line still with what I was moving towards with the nonprofit, but also for myself. And I used to love and enjoy being on stage as a child, and I lost that. And so I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could do it again and be on stage and like it. And you just can become a different person. And you know, in everyday life, I tend to be actually a little bit more, I don't want everyone looking at me. And I don't like, for instance, if I'm going to go out to dinner and I'm all dressed up, I don't really want to go into the, you know, grocery store and people looking at me. I can't stand that. But something about being on stage where with other women, I think the competition, but also the sisterhood of all the women all doing the same thing and feeling beautiful, and we all look different and sound different and everything else. And it just was so exciting to be with other women that wanted to feel, you know, awesome and compete. And then to get me speaking again in front of people, since I was at home, I'd kind of lost the real, not motivation, but confidence in speaking. So I knew that being in pageants would help me with that. So pretty much.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes if you don't use it, you lose it and you forget. Like I know I was writing the other day, I was writing something out and I was like, writing? Whoa. Almost like my writing looked so terrible because we were just out of practice, right?
Exactly.
And we kind of forget a little bit as a mom, when you do so much for other people and you don't do as much for yourself, you kind of forget a little bit of who you are as a person. And I found for myself personally, when I started going towards the pageant, I kind of regained a little bit of me back. It was a goal for just myself.
Exactly. Yep.
And so it made me focus on myself, and I started to learn a little bit of things about me as an adult that I kind of missed, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's very empowering, right?
Correct.
And especially when you go and you meet other women and you realize a lot of people are like-minded, where at home not everyone has the same.
Exactly.
They're not women. They don't see it. They're kids and husbands. They love you, but it's not the same.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
To get your confidence back in your ability to do other things.
It is it's very enriching.
Exactly.
And empowering at the same time. I found it like it fed my soul a little bit, not just like it's good for you, but it fuels your soul a little bit.
Definitely.
It does.
The part about who you are. That part. Like the kids,
it's true.
You know, fill your soul in other ways, but the part about who you are.
Right. And it's always nice too to get dressed up and feel beautiful. That's nice too.
Getting dressed up. So.
Do you have any tips about or tricks on feeling confident during the pageant? Because that was one thing that I struggled with, is you were in a room with a lot of beautiful, successful, talented women. And so once you actually get there, your confidence wavers a little bit. So what helped you to glean on and hold on to your confidence?
Definitely for me, it's writing handwritten notes and like putting it on a mirror that I am this and I am that. Also because speaking was one thing I wanted to get, overcome that fear of again. So I bought a microphone to practice when I have to speak in front of everyone. So the microphone really helped. So I practiced saying my speech, just speaking in general, and tried to practice that as often as possible. So those two things were my main things I used to help my confidence. On stage as well, repeating them in my head of positive affirmations and things. And really truly believing that I genuinely do, that they're beautiful too, but it doesn't mean that I'm not. We all are.
Mhm.
So just don't lose it
Mhm.
because someone else is. You
Exactly right. And the
maintain it.
reason I ask that, even people that are watching that aren't in the pageant, the reason I ask that is I feel that that is something that can go forward in life as is life as a stage, as these are all skills that people can develop into their everyday life. Because when we walk into a room or we walk into a situation and we're feeling insecure, we're feeling confident in the car, job interview, we're feeling confident in the car, social situation, whatever it is, you walk into a room and for whatever reason, insecurity. So we waver. So I was just in the pageant world, you learn tips and tricks and you feel things because you're in a competitive state and you're also at your most competitive with yourself. So I wanted you to give us some tips and tricks because something we could use in everyday life. So reciting affirmations, practicing different skills that we can integrate into our toolbox for our everyday life, things that we could put forward in practices, right?
Yeah, so even practicing walking, I think helps for a pageant, helps in everyday life. You tone it down a tad, but you still can practice walking in front of people and standing
Right.
your posture and things and your shoulders back and it gives you, and then before you know it, you're out there doing that.
Right, exactly. And Tasha said yes, she likes that. Just because you're people doesn't mean I'm not. It's true. And that can be put forward into anything in life. So like say, for example, my son, plays hockey. Just because they're a good hockey player does not mean you are not a good hockey player. Just
Right.
because they are good at computer science does not mean you are any less good at computer science. It can be, you can use that in any facet of your life if you just think about it that way. And so these skills are not necessarily a skill that you're giving, it's a competence skill. It's not a skill that you're just saying as a pageant. We were just relating it to the pageant because that's what we know. Sorry, that is our know, right? I don't know
Right.
how to word that properly, but you know what I mean, right? And so I feel that these are things that you can take forward in life. And there's skills that I learned coming through the pageant that are things that have helped me to grow and develop in my everyday life better, right? Like
Right.
image and attitude definitely help you in your everyday life. Skills to be successful. Breathing that I learned backstage, like taking a deep breath, and things that I've learned for myself, like just things that I've taught myself, even just starting through the pageant. And through, right, like before the pageant, things I learned in my career and in jobs, like through Mary Kay, I learned like manifesting and how to dress for success and different things that I feel like also gave me a leg up and helped me to be more civil in the pageant. Like things you do in your life help you, or steps to help you to be successful in different things. Like you were saying, the skills you learned in the courtroom and how you overcame and were more confident by being judged in the courtroom probably helped you on the stage being more confident in the pageant world. And being more confident in the pageant world will help you be more confident maybe in a PTA meeting going forward for your kids. You don't know where you're going to learn these skills, so just be open to them,
Right.
right?
Yeah. I think you can bring a piece of yourself, that's a really good point, to the pageant. So being an attorney, I brought kind of some of my clothes, wore suits and things. And the particular bag I brought was like a bag that we used to use in court. It's a different one, but it's similar. And so I still brought a bit of me into the pageant. And I think everybody can bring something that they love too into the pageant. Or that their job or something that they're into, a hobby or things like that, that shows that part of who they are.
Right, exactly. So Tasha, Tasha has a question for you, Jamie. She said, I just lost it. But her question was, how do you, in the pageant world, Tasha, I missed the question, but she wanted to know, she said she's very intense. So she wanted to know how in the pageant world you, Tasha, if you want to re-ask the question, you can. I was trying to read it, but
I'm not seeing her questions, but
it was there. So the question, yeah, so she wanted to know how in the pageant situation you can relax and like bring your focus down, because in a courtroom you're very intense. And so she said she's an intense person, so she wants to know how you relaxed and we're just more calm and at ease in a pageant situation.
I think really having fun and enjoying it and going, telling yourself like, this is amazing. This is so much fun with all these women, and just being, I guess, more fun. I have that issue with being, you know, a little bit too intense of bringing that courtroom heart and being the very serious. And I have to just kind of tell myself, like, just be myself too. Like, you can just be fun and happy too. And before I was trained to be that way and things. But I definitely think just enjoying it. Yeah. And breathing and yoga, of course, and those things. But yeah, that's the only advice I have about that. It's just
Right. Be more in the moment.
yes,
Maybe.
yes, in the
Get
moment.
out of your head and be in the moment. Just like
Yeah,
engage, or maybe.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That is really connecting with people. And
Mm-hmm.
I can tell Tasha connects with people also. I can
Mm-hmm.
see that. And so I think just, you know, chiming into that and being who you are is like, I know it's oversaid, but oh my gosh, is that helpful?
Right. Like I understand in the pageant, like it's a competition. It is 100%. It is. But at the same time, it's a competition to showcase you.
Right.
So you're not competing as in you're not trying to be better than anybody. You're trying to you're trying to bring your best face forward, if that makes sense. So you just need to be in the moment and enjoy yourself, and your best face will be forward. So that would be how I feel.
So
if
yeah,
that makes sense.
focusing on what everyone loves about you, and
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has somebody who loves something about them. I at least I hope. But you know, we all have, and think about that. If it's one person, 20 people, 5 people, whatever it is, what do they love about you and things, and show them.
Right. Yeah. Just pay attention to what's going on. Be kind. Be engaged, though. Because I know when I was there, some of the girls were so intense and so competitive. They were just in their own head so much. They were missing so much of the stuff that they were flustered when it was like their call or whatever, because they were so like intense. Like the word, I'm going to use your word, Tasha. But that they were so hyper focused that they were missing things. But you just need to just be engaged and just realize that you need to also, it is an experience that you're there to experience. Live it, right? Be in the moment.
Had something float.
Life is to be lived, right? Live it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Being too uptight about it. Yeah, you're not showing the real you. So just, you know, don't have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. And your confidence is beautiful, and that's a big thing too. So just being relaxed and being confident with who you are is a big thing, right? So I have a question for you. So has your idea of beauty changed as you've gotten older? So like, I know, like for me, when I was younger, I had like this idea of beauty, and as I've gotten older, I've realized I'm like, oh, it was so like tiny, and then like you try and compare yourself and so cookie cutter, and then you never fit into like, I was always like a square peg in a round hole, and then I never felt beautiful because my idea of beauty was so limited. And as I've gotten older, it's gotten broader. So do you feel like as you've gotten older that your idea of beauty and like acceptance has also expanded?
I do. I mean, I think I could see beauty in everyone else, but not myself when I was younger. And I thought that I had to be, you know, super thin. So I basically, you know, almost starved myself to an extent, and things, and realized that wasn't even a look that I liked, and it wasn't healthy whatsoever. So it was, you know, I preferred to just now be, I think more focus on muscle and just being healthy, whatever that looks like for me. And there's no idea really. I feel like it's better not to have this, I have to look this exact way and be pigeonholed into this exact image. Instead, maybe, you know, focus on like muscle and things that your body, as it grows or gets older and it deteriorates, and what's healthy and what's going to keep me strong and things, and not being thin, but being just whatever my healthy is. So yeah, I think before I thought that you had to be super, super thin.
Right.
But at the same
Oh, you froze first.
I think that I always saw beauty in others though. So it's very odd of any
It's true, but
shape and
it is
size.
always easier to see beauty in others than it is to see it yourself because we are our worst critics. Because we see
Right.
ourselves the most. We can pick ourselves apart easier. It's definitely easier to pick ourselves apart. I'm a child of the 90s, so I guess that was my biggest growing up part. So I found like the very thin Calvin Klein models, and those were the girls that were always on billboards and all this, and I was never that girl. So I always found that those were the girls that I was always comparing myself to, but I was never that body type, and it was always hard for me. And then my cousins and the people that were closest to me, my friends, were always very thin, tiny people, and they were all beautiful, and I was never that body type. So then I always felt lacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older, I realized, and I like that you said this, you said, whatever that looks like. And it's true. Love yourself, whatever that looks like for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I am talking to you and I say, who is your like female celebrity crush? Who is the girl that you find the most beautiful? Like, do you have a female like supermodel, or who do you think is the most beautiful girl if you were to say somebody? Is there like, or like a style of person?
You know,
Do you have like,
I really think Beyonce is beautiful. I can think of her last name's Vargas. She's a celebrity. Can't remember her first name. Sophia Vargas, I think.
okay, yeah.
And then, you know, it used to be like Victoria's Secret, but honestly, I think maybe even the ones that weren't quite as thin. But I think there's a range of
Right.
I don't think I could name just one that I would say that.
Everybody always has like their style icon or their
Yeah.
favorite person. And like my one sister, hers always has been Grace Kelly. Love, like always has been Princess Grace Kelly. My other sister always loved Gwen Stefani. That was like not at all the same. One is very classic, one is very rocker, one is like bright red lips, one is very reserved. And that's how opposite they are. So when you ask somebody what their idea of beauty is, they're not the same. So there is no broad spectrum beautiful, right? So whatever it looks like for you is how you should always gauge it. So like when you said, I don't want to be skinny, I want to be healthy and I want to have muscle, whatever that looks like for me. And it's true. You need to base your body confidence and your body on you and stop taking yourself apart based on other people. So when someone looks at someone else and sees that they're beautiful, why are we attacking our worth the minute that we see somebody else's beauty? That's not fair because we're not them, right?
Right.
And that's where we need to really start to realize that, you know what, I am enough. She's gorgeous, but I'm enough. And today I'm enough. And I like that you said that because that was really, it's true. Like you need to, for us, to each individually, right? Yes, Ashley Graham. There's a lot. Like I think, like beauty-wise, I think Kate Beckinsale, like her face and her hair. Like her hair is always like my dream hair. But like there's certain girls that, or whatever that you're like, oh, I wish I looked like her. But I really don't. Like there's nothing wrong with how I look. But I do really appreciate her features or her hair or her body type or whatever it is. But if I looked like her, I wouldn't be me. You know what I mean? And all the things that, like my daughter, I think she's absolutely gorgeous. And a lot of those features are my features. So, you know what I mean? It's so funny how we always see beauty in other people and then we pick it apart in ourselves. But yet my daughter's like her features that she has, like my son, his nose, I love, he's got the cutest little nose. It's my sister's nose. He's got my sister's skin, the cute little freckles on it. He's 17. He'll think it's so weird that I say that. But you know what I mean? Like, it's so funny that we always attack ourselves first, but we need to be more confident. Just realize that whatever beauty looks like for us.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And
yeah,
healthy.
so I appreciate it. And healthy.
Yeah.
And it's true. And that should be, honestly, that should be the most important. I agree. I appreciate that. That was great. I liked that. So if I were to ask you, what is an empowering message that you could leave our viewers with today? What is something that you would just leave with them to glean off of from you?
Yeah, I was looking through like a lot of quotes, and I loved this other one I found. This I'd never heard it actually before, but it was "Don't let your mind bully your body." And I actually haven't heard that, but I thought that was right because so often we do that.
True. That is true.
and with food and different things. And
Well, right here is our biggest enemy, and right here is our greatest power.
mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Like that's the biggest obstacle we'll ever climb is right here.
Right.
Between our ears, right? Yep.
Exactly.
I agree. That was a great one. Thank you. I appreciate that. So Jamie, in the comments, can you share your social media so everyone can follow you? And can you like tag yourself in the social media after? That would be so fantastic.
Sure.
So that they can follow you and see and follow you, so that also in November when you come to the Miss Globe, they can follow your journey there as well, back to the stage and back to coming.
Okay, awesome. Will you be there also?
Yeah, well, as long as the borders are open, I will be there. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. No, it's been awesome being here. I've seen your show too, and you do a phenomenal job. So
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're learning as we go.
You're a natural, so I appreciate you having me.
Yes, thanks for being on, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
You too.
Okay, thanks, Jamie.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. So that was great. I love Jamie. She's such a nice girl. I really enjoyed meeting her and her husband in Palm Springs last year, and then again I got to hang out with them a little bit more in China, which was really fantastic. And I love traveling, and that's one thing I am missing during COVID is traveling and meeting new people, because I love people and I love travel. So thank you so much for being here today and learning, and I hope there was something that you got out of today to put tools in your toolbox to help you be more successful, mentally healthy, and emotionally stable, and just to feel that, you know what, you are enough. You are brilliant, you are beautiful, and you are brave, and you are enough. So thank you. You can follow me at Alicia PLOSZ on Instagram, at Mrs.Curve, and here on Mrs. Globe. And I'll see you next week on Body Confidence with Mrs. Curve Globe. Me. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.